that's coming out. I hope you enjoy yourselves. Ask all the questions that you can. We have a lot of different talent here and a lot of wisdom. So please ask questions. That is what this is for. With that being said, we have Bella Hugh here. She'll be our moderator, and she'll take it from here.
Hello, good morning, everybody. How are you? I need more energy than that. Come on, y'all. Esports and Tech Summit brought to you by the City of Las Vegas. My name is Bella Hugh, and I will be one of your hosts for today's event. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a variety streamer, gamer, cosplayer, and content creator born and raised here in Las Vegas. Now, thank you for everybody coming out today to show your support, and let's get into it. Please put your hands together and welcome some of our panelists. So up above us on the monitors, we have two people with us virtually today. We have Danny Peña from Gamertag Radio. We have Beloved from Kaizen's Creed. And with us in person, we have Marcus Sherfield from Tech Impact, Garret O'Toole, a caster for Halo Esports Journalism, Bill Carter, the president and CEO of Carter Automation, and Ursela G, representing STEM in education as well as robotics. Thank you for joining us today. Timelines for both technology and video games, you notice that around the 70s, they start to overlap. From that point on, a relationship between the two starts to form. Technology has allowed for the evolution between video games, and video games have also propelled technology. So we have some questions for you today. Are you guys ready? Can everyone up above us hear us? Are we good?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, cool.
First question. This generation and the next generation may take for granted the advancements that have become normalized. What is something that you believe should be highlighted and remembered in the evolutions of technology and video games?
I'll take it. Hey guys, once again, I'm Garrett. So I'm a caster for Halo, and one big thing that really came when I was starting was the ability to start by yourself, right? So often now, if you have a dream, if you want to go take it on, you can go and download something like Open Broadcast Studio or OBS and stream right to Twitch, right? And I think that's something that really came in the last 10 years that's really been impactful. So if I had to take one pillar of technology that's really been helpful, is open source technology that helps people become their own person. We don't necessarily have to rely on getting strict education or mentorship anymore. There's this ability to go figure it out yourself, have fun, make your mistakes, but most importantly, learn with the technology that's coming up today.
That's a great answer. Does anybody else want to answer that question?
Yeah, I could answer that question. Sorry, I'm hearing like an echo from here. I have to take my headphones on. Yeah, for me, I'm a content creator now for 21 years now. I started in 01. So when I started as a content creator, I didn't have the equipment, I didn't have most of the software. So for me, I had to work with whatever I had at the moment for me. And at the same time, once I started, getting funds, money from opportunities, and slowly I will upgrade and get like better equipment and everything like that. So, but I learned everything on my own. Like I had no mentorship, nothing like that, and it was very helpful for me to learn from my mistakes, listen to the content that I create or watching, and just get better from that. Now it's been 21 years now, so. Gamertag Radio has been around since 05. I started in 2001, so it's still getting better for me. Yeah, my advice for everyone: just work whatever you have at the moment.
Great answer as well. Anybody else want to share?
Okay. I got a question.
Yes.
Am I echoing as well?
Are you echoing on? Not on our end, no.
Okay.
You are okay.
I can answer. So I think, as the first person said, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. You was talking about open source technologies, and that's something that's really useful for especially like game developers like myself. I'm creating a fighting game, a 2D game with my younger brother. I started when I was 19, and he was like 14 at the time. And everything that we use is like Unity Engine, which is a free game developing software that you can use to develop video games. And we use, other resources like Metabang or stuff for drawing and animation. So a lot of it comes down to, your drive and your ability to continue grinding and understanding where your mistakes are made and where you can continue um, growing as a developer and as, as a creative.
Thank you so much. Next question we have is, can you think of a time when video game development went down a particular path because the technology was available? For example, VR, online gaming, and 3D.
Oof. There you go. So for me, I started playing, the NES and Super Nintendo and everything. But then during the Dreamcast days, that's one of the first time I experienced online gaming. And that was a very cool technology back then because when it first started, back then we used to play online gaming through a 56K modem. So I remember the first time I played online was NFL 2K, 2K1, I believe. And that was a really cool experience. And look now, like how online gaming is just everywhere, with all the consoles and also PC, mobile gaming and everything. So I think it was really cool to experience that from like the early days of slow internet back then, and now the technology is a lot better.
Is there anybody else?
Yeah, I could take it. I think in my generation, so we kind of came up with the content creator, right? So everything today, I mean, like all y'all probably have like your favorite YouTuber, right? Whether it's like Dream or someone like that. But we've seen like YouTubers and Twitch streamers make such an impact on the video game and technology industry now. So like it's not uncommon today to go on Twitch and watch your favorite streamer and earn rewards in the game for your game for whatever you want to do, or to have integration with content creators right into the game. And I think that's something that's really unique that's taken place in just the last few years, is showing how much impact an individual can have a game. So like, I think everyone here has played Among Us, right? Among Us got popular because one Twitch streamer started streaming Among Us. And from there, you can see how much of a cultural impact that's had. So I think it really shows how valuable the individual is in the current like content creation space, and how it can have huge ripple effects through video games. So I'd say, hey, if you want to try streaming, or if you want to try making like YouTube videos, this is like the time to do it, right? Because there's so much of an audience out there for you to capture, and you can see right now there's tangible impacts that you can have as an individual on not only the creation space, but on the video game ecosystem, on development and marketing and all the facets that it takes to create a video game.
That's an amazing answer. Thank you. Anybody else? Technology is in our pockets, on our desks, at school, and at work. It's everywhere. How has online safety changed to account for the current online dangers?
I'm Ursela Garvin, the owner of STEMbotics Learning Center. So for me, just revving up what we do to kind of protect ourselves online, right? So those passwords, two-step verifications, making sure that when you're in these chat rooms, meeting new people, that you're not sharing important information where people may steal your information. All of those things, internet safety, are important during this time. So just protecting yourself. Remember to don't give out all of your information when you're talking to strangers online. Don't tell them your address, right? Maybe not even tell them your city, okay? And just kind of keep it generic and enjoy the gaming and keep your private information to yourself.
One big thing I think, like you said, two-factor authentication, like passwords is important, but it's also really important to be, the past term would be like street smart. Now it's important to be technology smart, like understanding how people are trying to manipulate you online. And one thing I'd love to see added into like our school curriculum is just safety courses on how to navigate the internet, just because there's so many ways for you to be taken advantage on, like online right now, especially at a young age where, we really look up to the people that we see online. It's important to make sure that you're grounded with people who are next to you that have your best interest in mind. So if someone's asking you to do something online, you should always go and ask someone you know and trust in real life before you make any of those actions. Sometimes it's going to be embarrassing. We do things online that kind of make us look back and kind of shudder and cringe a little bit on what we used to do. But it's really important to make sure that everything you do online, especially with older people, goes through someone you trust first. So like your parents, your school teacher, whoever you look up to, really trust them to go through that information with you, because it's a scary place the internet can be at sometimes, especially when you get into more of these niche communities.
And that's a very good point when you talk about the school piece. So here in Clark County School District, I know it looks like most of you all are middle school students. Am I correct? Raise your hand if you're a middle school student. Okay, so here in CCSD, we are revving up the CTE STEM programs. And so what you'll see is that courses like cybersecurity are going to be offered more frequently in your elective courses. So look out for those courses, take those courses, ask your principal like, hey, I'm interested in cybersecurity. I want to learn about this. Get the position here at my school so that I can learn how to protect myself. How do I learn how to protect others? All right. And so it's all about advocating for yourself and then also knowing the programs that are available to you. So looking out for those magnet schools and applying for those lottery positions are where you're going to majority find those cybersecurity courses that you can engage in and just kind of educate yourself and that you can educate others.
Great answer. The internet does not forget. You all have a digital footprint. Don't forget that. Anybody else? Any input? Great. Now we have some questions more personal. Can you share a pivotal moment that brought you to a moment in your life or career?
I could do it. I can hear myself. Can you hear an echo over there or no?
Yes.
Wait, no, there's no echo. You're good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because someone should mute you guys. That's why I can hear myself. All right. Well, for me, I went to an event in New York City. This was like 2 months after 9/11, and this is when I found out that Microsoft they were in town promoting the original Xbox and also Nintendo promoting GameCube. So I just showed up. I just showed up with my recorder, my tape recorder, and a video camera, and I started just interviewing people that were in line at the event. And then just me being there, I got opportunity to meet people that worked on both companies. And they gave me an opportunity to attend the launch event of the Xbox and also GameCube in New York City. And I got to meet Bill Gates. I got to meet the original creators of Xbox, and a couple other developers that made all the games. And that was the moment for me that I decided to start just doing podcasting, because I felt like it was a huge opportunity for me during that time. Fast forward now, my podcast already has the first gaming podcast already reached over 1,000 episodes. We've been featured all over media. Also gotten sponsorship with a lot of gaming companies and also non-gaming companies too. So the point I'm saying this is, if I would have stayed home and just recorded content from my apartment, I would have missed that opportunity. So for those that are up and coming content creators and streamers, it's good for you to just attend events and network and meet people and show and tell them the things that you do, show your talent. I think that's important, not just stay home and create content. So networking is so important. So this is your first step for those who are there. Now, this is your first step to start networking and meet people from locally over there too.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll share. So STEM Bodies Learning Center is an agriculture and robotics company. And so we build robots to facilitate the growing and agricultural process. So I was in a fellowship in Durham, North Carolina, which was designed to teach me how to start and run my business, okay? So as a part of that, we went to this conference called the Ford Cities Conference. And when we were touring the city, learning how the city was developed, the history of the city, why this store is put on this street versus this street, okay? We came across this farmer who had a vineyard, okay? And he was employing members of the community to run the vineyard and then turning the grapes into wine, right? And it immediately piqued my interest. We left there and went to a hydroponic facility where they were recycling water to grow lettuce, okay? And I just got hooked in. So I thought, this is it. I'm gonna build robots to facilitate the growing process. And through this, we'll be able to feed the community, offer them healthy options, and also provide jobs to the community. So just like the speaker before me mentioned, joining fellowships, extending yourself, networking, taking hold of every opportunity that's presented to you to learn and grow is what you're going to need to do. Because without that Ford Cities Conference, I don't know that I would have had the spark to start STEM Bodies Learning Center. So again, fellowships, networking, after school activities, everything that you can do to engage yourself, that is what you should be doing.
Okay, the dinosaur in the building. Most of you guys are familiar with the Mission Impossible franchise. That's what got me interested in technology. The origin of the Mission Impossible franchise occurred back in the late 60s. And the thing that piqued my interest is that there was this one guy named Barney. Whenever they ran into a problem, Barney used technology to solve the problem. And that's what excited me. Mostly because at that time, and we know about civil rights and how everything was, he was a Black guy. And I said, wow, I can do this. At the core of everything that we're talking about now is problem solving. Seeing a problem and using technology to bridge where you are to where you want to be.
I like that a lot, by the way. That was really cool. So go back to what Danny was saying earlier about going to events. So I have like probably two that we're going back to. One of the first events I went to was a big Halo tournament. So I'm really into Halo, guys. I know it's a little bit older than I think most of you guys are in. If anyone's playing Halo Infinite, shout out to you. Probably, hit me up. I love playing with people. But I think it was really cool to see a sense of community because I'm really excited about Halo. I get really, like, if someone wants to talk to me about the Halo franchise, I get really excited. I have a lot of fun. I can go on for hours. And being in a room with thousands of other people who share that common interest is something that's really hard to find, especially when you're niching down. Like, I think everyone here is into video games and technology, but is everyone here into Roblox like so someone is? Is everyone here into like that same game, right? No, not really, but there are these tournaments, there are these cool events that you can seek out and go find that sense of community and have that shared belonging. And when I went to that Halo championship, I said, wow, this is so cool. Like, my favorite players are playing with each other. They're playing for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, if they win, they're going to be coming home. And I'm like, wow, they're doing the same thing that I do when I go home. I'm just playing a video game, but they've been able to hone their craft, get really good at it, and make a career for themselves. And I had to ask myself, am I able to go pro? And the easy question to that is no, I'm not that good. So I had to find different avenues to, make a career out of my shared interest with these guys. And the way that I did it was I like to talk, I like to be in front of people. I like to explain things. So I became a commentator and I speak in front of video games. I'm that person you hear when you're watching a tournament, right? And I was able to find that niche experience. And I think it's really interesting to go to these events and see what everyone's doing, because most likely you're not going to be able to be a pro player. You're not going to be able to do the flashy job, right? But you might be able to see where all the people are working, because when you go to these events, there's hundreds of people working. There's hundreds of people who have made a career through that event. And although maybe you can't be pro, you might be able to help organize people. You might be able to see like, hey, I'm really good at keeping a schedule. I'm really good at doing my homework on time, right? Because that's what I'm really bad at, right? I showed up late. I never was good at doing homework, but I was really good at talking to people. But you might not like talking to people, but you might like doing the schoolwork. You might be on time with everything. And if that's the case, you can make a lot of money in this industry just by being on time, just by doing the work that other people don't want to do, right? So if you can go to these events and kind of network and find people with similar interests and see how they found their way to make a living doing what they love or being around what they love, that's really cool. And like every single person here does everything a little bit different. You can find what you're good at. You just need to network and find the people who have those shared experiences that can provide you a roadmap for how to find a career in video games, esports, whatever you want to do.
Okay, I guess I'm last then. For me, I guess it's not as, wasn't going to events, wasn't doing all of that. It was just about playing the game or watching the show or, indulging in like anime and stuff like that. I feel like everybody nowadays is into it, but like back then it was just like you were by yourself in your room, like absorbing everything. And so as a kid, I was pretty introverted. And so I was always just thinking about, oh, this idea, doing this, creating that, was trying to express myself through the creation of a game or an idea. And with that constant, thought process, I was, cultivating my future in a sense of becoming a game developer, being able to like express my ideas in a way that wasn't just imaginary, but becoming physical and creating a team where I could do this together. And so I think when you get to a point where you can actually envision and grasp your idea, that's where it all changed for me when I gained the skills and I, grinded so hard that I achieved what I really wanted to have. And that was becoming a game developer. So I think that's really the big part is, you know, creating your path and creating your future because you know what you really love and what you really want to do.
Thank you so much. All right, so what barriers have you guys had to navigate to get to where you are today?
Yes, I'll start because for me, I would say that my barrier hasn't been as much as other people's. Like I've been kind of in a privileged opportunity where I grew up in, like a middle-class family. I didn't have like a lot of the restrictions to access. So for me, I had that easier start. But what I really thought really held me back was finding a way to market myself, to make myself someone that someone wants to relate to, someone wants to go check out and watch streams. So for me, it was really about finding what connects people and being able to touch on what connects us, which I did by watching a lot of Twitch, watching a lot of YouTube. Like whenever I did anything in my professional career, I would immediately go and find the people that I looked up to, and I would send them what I did right away. I was sending out 10, 20 DMs on Twitter, on Facebook, emails, just to anyone I looked up to and said, hey, like, this is what I'm doing now. How can I get better? And what would you improve? And I think that was the way that I found the easiest way to break through the barriers that I had. But I think it's really important to make sure that you're just putting your best foot forward, that you recognize what's in front of you, what barriers you have to overcome. And it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be harder for other people than it is for others. I mean, that's just the way it is, but we need to work on improving that so that we can give more people equal footing, equal starting grounds. But honestly, I'm really blessed to be where I am now. And hopefully if anyone here like wants to get involved in commentary or esports, like, feel free to come up to me. I'll take your information. If you ever want to ask me questions, I'm there. I want to help you, right? I think that's the biggest thing is we're a community, and it's important for the community to help each other rise.
That's an amazing answer.
When I was 4, my dad told me to be an engineer. And that focused me for the rest of my life. Well, at 4, I didn't know I was going to be 6'6" and over pounds, okay? So when I first started plying my trade as an engineer, it was hard for people in power plants to fathom that somebody who looks like they should be on a football or a basketball field was going to come in and program their control system to make money. Back in the early 2000s, the electrical system was in a great state of flux, and they were charging astronomical prices for the delivery of electricity. I think it was at one time $2,000 per megawatt hour, and when you multiply that out, these companies were netting over $1 million a day, each one of these power plants. They have a problem, and in comes the football player. And they're saying, you're in the wrong business. You have to persevere. Once somebody told me that if you do what it is that you love, you never go to work a day in your life. And I've not been at work for about 40 years now.
Yeah. For me, I went to my first conference, and it was E3. I went there with my brother, and I remember I got my whole check, because podcasting during that time was so new. I wanted to create a media kit, so I had bio, pictures, everything about my show. And I went to E3. I got hotel, rented a car. It was my first time in LA. When I went to the event, I gave my media kit to every single company that was at the booth. I had no appointments, I had no contacts, nothing. So after E3, I noticed that every single company ignored me, and they just never gave me an opportunity during that time. I was very discouraged. And during that week too, I only had $20 for the whole week when I was in LA with my brother. So we were just eating dollar burgers, everything, whatever it was cheap around that area. So when we were done and we went back to Miami, I was discouraged. I felt like I wasted my time going over there. 2 months after that, Apple announced that they added podcasting to their platform. And that's when it was a game changer for us. That's when a lot of the companies were contacting me for opportunities after that. And the year after that, when I went to E3, I had nonstop appointments, big interviews with companies. So that part was very, very challenging. Even family, when I started, they were very confused of the stuff that I was trying to do, because they'd never heard of podcasting. That they just I was just playing games and that's it. So I think educating people helps a lot. When you're in those events and they don't understand what is it that you do. So just educating people, and also don't give up. Now My show is still going on. I also work at G4 TV. I'm the games editor leader, part of the X-Play team, and all because of my podcast that I started 17 years ago. So just keep on going. If you're discouraged, just keep on going. Don't give up, because you never know what could happen.
So in education, we encourage beginning teachers to find their marigold. Has anyone ever heard of marigold? Right? So marigold is your bright spot, like light, right? And it speaks on what he was talking about earlier in terms of finding your community. So I'm not from here. I'm from North Carolina. I've been in Vegas actually 5 years this month. Okay. So moving here, coming from all the way to the East Coast to the West Coast, letting people understand who I am, putting myself out there, meeting new people is a huge barrier because people are like, who are you? Like, where did you come from, right? And so being open, being vulnerable to meeting new people and explaining who you are and what you're about is going to be huge in your success. And then the other thing is just the marketing piece. In anything that you do, getting the word out about what you're doing is the most difficult piece, right? So if you all are creating, innovating, how are you going to let people know that your business is out here? How are you going to know that, you have this new channel? What is your process? And so as you all are creating, innovating, don't forget those key pieces, because you have this great product, you have something that you love, that is good for the community, good for kids, but nobody knows about it and nobody's there, right? So make sure that you focus on that marketing piece, and then also be open and be comfortable with who you are and being able to express and share with other people who you are. And that's my advice.
Can I say one more thing too? 'Cause I feel like it's very, very important. One thing that I've been focusing on is just giving back to my community. I'll go to a lot of the black and brown kids in different cities across the U.S. and even international to share my story, because I feel that a lot of them uh, they feel left out. They don't have the resources. They don't know what to do, and it's good for us to share our stories and share our knowledge to them, because they're the next generation that could also change the industry too. So one thing that I did when I went to Dominican Republic, because my parents are from there, I went and just wanted to meet the gaming community there, and one of the things that they were saying was they felt left out, and they don't have no events like how what we have over here. So I talked to my friends at Unity. They are well known in the gaming industry, and I told them if it's okay for us to do a workshop in Dominican Republic for free, so the kids could learn how to code, and they could also make their own game, right? So I did that, and we went and we did the event. We had like 300 students from all over across the country at the event, and we did it all totally for free. So, if you ever get an opportunity, don't always think about yourself, but also give back and help as many people as you can, because they're also going to be changing our industry too.
Mm. I guess to end this question, I don't really even like talking about struggles, because I like just thinking about all the good times and all the stuff that you do when you're making progress. But it's always good to reflect. I know that a really huge part about even getting started is money, and that's something that, unfortunately, being black and brown is something that you don't usually have a lot of. So I remember just um grinding, like working 40 hours a week just to purchase like my computer to start the process of developing a game. And so I would do that, and then I spent like $700, which is like an entire like month's worth of money to get a computer. And then I did that to get a tablet to do some art on and stuff like that. So there was all of that, and then not having a place to stay for a little bit. And so all these roller coasters of life, just kind of the ups and downs of just something you can't control, kind of gets in the way of pursuing your dream. So I think that was pretty much the toughest part about getting into the industry, was trying to find a means of, making money and producing what I wanted to produce.
Thank you so much. All right. Does anyone in the audience have any questions for any of our panelists today?
Don't be shy.
Here.
How do you integrate your own
So you're going to college? What are you studying right now? Hey, that's awesome, man. You going to UNLV? No, where are you going? Hey, Cal Poly, I love that. I just graduated from college, so like, hey, that's not fun. That question you're talking about is like the question that you are always going to have in college is like, you're going to meet people, you're going to think it's a cool opportunity, you're going to follow up, and sometimes it's just not going to work. And I think the biggest thing is you got to be true to yourself, right? Be like, don't necessarily try to say what you think they want to hear. Just say what you want to say. There's going to be someone that's going to resonate to you. It's a numbers game at the end of the day, right? So don't just count on every interaction being that interaction that's going to do it. You have to be, okay, that's great. If it works out, that's awesome. I need to go next. I need to continue going forward. And it's easy to get discouraged when things don't work out. I would just say, consistently try to make those connections. Not every single one's going to work out. All you're looking for is for that one that fits you. And I think it's important for you to realize that not everyone's going to want you, but there's going to be one person that wants you. And you would rather have that company, that support system, rather than manipulating yourself or not being true to yourself and finding yourself at a company that doesn't really work with your ideals or your values. But the biggest thing, like you said, it's about the follow-up, right? So if you can create a personal connection with them, that's the best way, right? So learn about them, say, hey, like, how did you get started? What were your trials and tribulations? See if there's something that you can relate to them, and then ask them for their advice, because this is the biggest tip. People like to talk about themselves. And if you're able to be like, hey, like, whoa, that went wrong for you. Like, how did it go wrong? How'd you overcome? And then you can relate with them. They're going to remember you. They're going to be more likely to talk to you. So I think the biggest thing is it's not just about talking to people. It's about getting to know that person. And then on top of that, you got to be quick on the next person. You know what I'm saying? It's a very much a numbers game, but making personal connections with the people you talk to is always important.
Thank you.
Do
Anyone?
your research on the person that you are interfacing with. It does two things. You're able to converse with them on topics of commonality. Second thing is, it keeps you from wasting your time. You may find out when you research that, yes, he may be brilliant, but he has the morals of a pig. Okay, so do your research on the person and find those areas of commonality and develop those in your conversation.
I'd actually say that's the most important thing, is doing your research, because like you're going to waste their time and your time, like learning those things that were publicly available. And it's a lot better, like when you come up to someone and you're like, I know this about you, then they're like more likely to interact with you.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Brown hoodie? I'm sorry, can you say that a little bit louder?
What's one thing we've done that we're really proud of ourselves? Ooh, that's a great question. I love talking about things that went right in my life. Do you have something?
Well, I do. So I just finished up my 16th year teaching, and I'm really proud of that. All right, yeah, I've been teaching for
Congrats,
16 years, technology, computer science, and robotics. And I guess another thing I'll share is that in February, I was sworn into the North Las Vegas Education Advisory Council. And I'm really proud of that because it's an opportunity to really influence and impact schools in a different way outside of my classroom. And so I'm able to look at the structures of schools, what's going well, what's going poorly, and then with the committee, come up with sound solutions with the input from the community on how we can lift up our schools, our families, and our kids. And so I'm really excited about that as well.
I was gonna say I'm really proud of my Twitch channel that I started. So I started a company called LVT Productions, which is like an esports broadcasting company. We started as like a grassroots initiative back in 2019, and we started with we went live. We had 4, 5 viewers. Going from 4 to 5 viewers to then the next month having 50 to then a few more months having 100. And now when we go live, it's not unusual to see 1,000 concurrent viewers. It's crazy to see that kind of growth. And it's really something that I can look back and show tangible results and be like, I made that happen. That's really cool. And when you go look at numbers, I can go and see hey, 20,000 unique people watched my last broadcast. And going, I could fill an entire stadium with 20,000 people. It's really a unique opportunity, and it gives you an idea of scale, right? Yeah, you're gonna see content creators like Dream or Ludwig or the Mizkif that have millions of people watching them, right? But that's like the 1%. You can make a career out of yourself having 1,000 people watching you, having that community that has that shared interest with you. You don't need that crazy number, but it's really cool to grow something like that and to see people really latch on to what you're doing and having people say, oh, I love catching every single one of your streams. I love coming and watching your guys' broadcast because it's really well done. You can tell that you take the time, that you take the commitment, that you make sure you do it right. So I'd have to say that I really love live streaming, broadcast, all that, and showing having something that you had in your mind, putting it on paper and executing correctly is so there's nothing else in this world that's really setting a goal and hitting that goal and smashing that goal is so cool. I really hope you guys are able to really do that on a small or large scale. It's just such an awesome experience.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Smashing goals is awesome. You feel really great about achieving those numbers and things like that. I remember doing a Kickstarter. I did a Kickstarter for my game. We reached the goal and then got 10K plus that. So that was amazing. But I think my favorite part of being a developer or just being a part of this community is just the people enjoying what you're making, seeing their reactions or their compliments about your game, or oh, that animation looks so smooth, or that move looks so punchy and crunchy, the music's really nice. Just even the smallest stuff is what really gets me riled up to keep on going. Those are the moments that I love the most.
Yeah, I have a couple, and this one that, well, actually, this one that happened last year, but a couple months last year, I think midsummer around there, I was outside on the balcony just thinking what to do next, right? And I said to my wife, I was like, I would love to surprise my mom with a billboard in Times Square. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna manifest and just hope it happens. He's like, you should post that online. I'm like, okay. So I posted on Twitter. A couple hours after that, I got a message from Twitch, and they were like, "Hey, Danny, we want you to fill up this form because we want you to be part of the Hispanic Heritage Month campaign." I was like, "All right, sure." So I signed up. That was midsummer. Fast forward to September. A week before this happened, they say, "Hey, Danny, we're gonna have you on 4 billboards in Times Square, and we want you to be there if you can to take pictures." And my dream came true. I took my mom, that she'd been supportive of all the stuff that I was doing since I was a very young age, and that was the highlight for me of my career. Just showing that to my mom and my dad, I got really really emotional seeing that, and one other thing that I announced last week, and for the first time, I've never done this before. Uh, I've been working with my cousin and his wife on a children's book based on a true story about my life, and I announced it last week, and this is it right here. It's called Danny Loves Video Games, and I'm very excited to share my story and inspire a lot of young kids that they also have dreams on to become a developer or content creator or whatever it is in life. So I can't wait. So this is like one of the highlights for me this year too.
That's cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll take one more question from the audience.
I was just going to answer that last one. I too like or are very proud of the quality of my work product and how it's received in the industry. That's one thing. And then the other thing is launching people into the industry that I'm in. I've had the blessing of having a number of gentlemen who have come in knowing nothing about instrumentation and controls and who are now out in the industry doing great work. Those are the two things I'm proud of.
That the African proverb on what he's talking about is each one teach one, right? And I work heavily on that in my life. So after you have mastered something, after you know what you're doing, what you should do is reach back and help somebody else and bring them along the way. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
All right, so two-part question. First one is gonna be really quick and simple. I know you said you're from North Carolina, you understand? Okay. Where's everybody from?
I grew up like an hour northeast of here, a small town called Mwapa. It's like 7,000 people, had like 400 people in my high school.
Okay.
I grew up on a farm too, so
Great.
farming, awesome. If you guys want to get in agriculture, I recommend it. We need people in agriculture.
Stembotics Learning Center.
I'm from Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay. So here's my question for you guys. How detrimental to your success do you think it is to change your environment?
I would say not detrimental, right? I think one of the best things that ever happened to me was leaving my small town for a little bit. I went to college, did the dorm life thing, like met people, like went into like a comfort zone that was not what I was used to. Like I grew up in a small town that is 90% white, one religion, like, everyone's the same. And then I went to UNLV, which is like the most diverse college in the nation, right? And it's like learning the experiences from other people who have no shared background with you is something that you just can't learn. You have to experience. And like having things shifted in your mind, like thinking one way and having people say or show you another way is so important. Like making sure if you want to go live in a new city, go live in a new city, go do new experiences. If you want to go live in a small town, go live in a small town because you'll learn life experiences that you can't get anywhere else. Honestly, one of the best things I ever did was to go to a college that had a very diverse background because I was able to meet different people from different walks of life that were able to radically shift my viewpoint. I was a very different person in high school growing up in a homogenous community than I was going to college and interacting with people who had very different backgrounds.
Yes, that's what I was saying. So
Yeah.
like, you think it is important to switch your surroundings to get out?
100%. You got to go shift your background sometime.
Yeah.
And I would say too that, that if you don't want to leave Las Vegas, you want to stay here and grow your business, that's perfectly okay too, but still create those opportunities where you are leaving Las Vegas and maybe go stay for a week or two and come back home so that you have the opportunity to meet different people, right? When I first went to college, I'm from a little town called Dunn, North Carolina, and I actually grew up on a farm as well. My dad cropped tobacco and sweet potatoes. And so when I went to college, people did not understand me, you all. Like, they were like, your Southern swag, your Southern slang, I don't know what you're saying, right? But had I not left my community, I would have never known that people outside of my community really couldn't understand like what I was saying, right? So it's very, very important to kind of leave and go back out. But if you want to stay here, you can still stay in your city and do great. Just make sure you create those opportunities where you are getting out and going to see other things. Because I would love to be in North Carolina and be able to run my program there as well. And so don't forget about your home state when you go be great.
How are you guys going to develop games that appeal to a mass audience if you don't have common experiences with them? So you have to get out, you have to learn in order to appeal to people so that they will consume your product.
Yeah, for me, I was born and raised in New York, and I also lived in Miami, Florida, and that's when I started my company, Gamer Tag Radio, in Miami. And Miami is not known for a video game city at all. Like there's no gaming industry at all over there. Now things have been changing, but when for me, companies started contacting me now, they will fly me out to like different studios around the country or outside of the country, which helped me to do more stuff outside of Miami. And just recently, back in 2020, I moved to Los Angeles, and it's been helpful for me to continue my content creation career over here too. So it's been helpful. I think it's good to experience, like wherever I was saying, experience that in different places. It will help you out as a creator too. And honestly, for me, it's been inspiring just seeing different type of people from different cultures. It helps me a lot to come up with like really cool ideas for my stuff.
Yeah, I remember coming out to Las Vegas actually for the first time last year because
Mhm.
by the people that ran this program, they invited me out, and it was actually kind of a different, just a whole different experience, a whole different environment from, Portland, Oregon, where I'm from. And I was kind of amazed by like the variety of people, the different experiences that you can have in Las Vegas than you can have over here. And just being able to connect and, see the love of video games in my area compared to the love of video games there is just like almost completely different. It's kind of like a party. It's like every single, like the biggest events are held for fighting games in Las Vegas. Like Evo's coming up, which I'm gonna be at. So if you guys are out there, come say what's up. But it's completely different. We don't have anything like that over here. So the heat's crazy. So there's that.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah, look, thanks so much. Christian Bishop from Twitch here, guys. Thank you so much for your time today. It was a great panel. Thank you for leading the way, you two. Danny, man, I went to pre-order your book right now. You got to let us know when it's out.
Oh yeah, so
Congratulations on
coming soon.
I want to get it.
I actually I also gave a shout out to Twitch in there, so that was really cool.
Thank you for that. And Garrett, happy birthday to you, man. Everybody,
Yeah, it's my birthday. Let's go.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Everybody who gives Garrett a happy birthday high five after this panel, you can get some Twitch merch from him. I'm going to give him some more, so he'll have little pins and stuff for you. So everybody that mobs him with a happy birthday, he'll be able to give you some merch, guys. And main question for you, man, is what motivated you to go back to school, Garrett, and finish up your degree after all your success?
School was really important to learn technical know-how and learn industry. So I started school, I went to film. I didn't really vibe with film too much. It was something I was interested in, but it's not what I wanted to do. And I discovered esports. And I was just in love, right? I started with a grassroots community, was streaming on Twitch to 20 people, having a really good time, and was like, I would really want to do this as a career, but I need to learn how to make it a career. So I went, and I would recommend if anyone is interested in broadcast or just streaming or what you see on TV, UNLV has an awesome broadcast journalism school. Like, you should go check it out. You will get hands-on experience. You will have great opportunities for internships. There's the Nevada Broadcasters Associations out here. They get full ride scholarships. I got a full ride scholarship to school because I liked esports. It's so cool that there are opportunities were out there. But the biggest thing you'll learn is how the industry works, because there's industry professionals there that will teach you the inner workings and teach you equipment that you don't necessarily have the ability to get your hands on. So school is an amazing opportunity to learn very specific things and to learn from very specific people. Yes, you can go and learn everything on your own and get a great baseline understanding. There are people that will become successful in a professional career that don't go to school, but there are people who will have a faster track, who will understand more, who will make less of the mistakes because they have mentorship from going to school. And I honestly, one of the best experiences I had was going to school, learning the hard way that I didn't go into the major that I wanted, found my love, came back, finished school, met so many great people, learned so many cool programs, cool equipment, so that I have a skill set that not only impresses when people look at numbers, but it impresses when people see my technical know-how. And that's what school really shows you. You have to learn how to walk, right? We want to run so often. And I was running in 2017 when I was starting out like casting and streaming on Twitch, but I learned how to slow down, look around, see what the other experiences were, learn how to actually operate within the industry and make a career for myself, which has been really cool. School was really awesome for me. I think it's an experience that you have to make the most out of. It's limited. I regret my early years of school because I wasn't social enough. I wasn't going to enough parties, stuff like that. I'm not condoning parties, but make sure you're socializing at school. It's like you have very limited time in your life to go meet young people who are interested, that want to make careers, and to socialize with them and to meet professionals in the same ecosystem. It's so important to have that sort of education. Even if you don't finish, you should go to school just for a year to see if it's your thing.
Thank you also very much. Thank you to our panelists as well. Hugh is going to come talk about the bingo cards and the next events.
Thank you to our panelists. Good morning. Oh, come on. Good morning. You know what? I could just go home right now. All right, bye. Come on. Good morning. Hi. There you go. Hi, everyone. My name is Hugh Lee. I am in charge and president of the Nevada Esports Education League. We are a nonprofit here for esports. Everyone, give it a round of hand for our panelists. Come on. They are amazing panelists. I got small little free gifts for them. So here's some free Razor stuff. Who does not like free stuff, right? If it's free, it's for me. That is my motto. There we go. Really quick, you guys can also get free things too. So outside, I don't know if y'all have done it yet, but some of y'all have. We have free Razor items. Thank you again to Team Razor down at the link. They gave us 200 free items for you guys to all take home with you. And all you guys got to do, say hi to all of our famous and wonderful exhibitors. Maybe say happy birthday to this guy. You know, he needs one. So yeah, go outside, talk to all of our exhibitors. Now, on top of that, we will have lunch provided for you guys. That would be happening in a bit of time, I'd say 40 minutes or so. But we are also taking that lunch to have a big networking event. So raise your hand here if you do not know everyone in this room. I don't know everyone in this room. They don't know everyone in this room. Well, they won't be here yet, but we'll get you guys next time. But that is your chance to go into the cafeteria, to go talk to people, meet people, ask about their Twitch, follow them on Twitch, get their Discord, follow me on Discord, Quick shout out, Nevada Esports Education League. And then other than that, it's your guys' time to go talk to each other, talk to amazing people here and the people who helped set this up, right?
So thanks again, Hugh. Again, big thank you to Danny, Beloved, Garrett, Bill, Ursula, and Bella for a wonderful first panel. We hope to keep hearing great things from all of you and being supportive of all their things. So one last round of applaud for our panelists. Awesome. Now we can double up on this lunch. We're going to call it a networking lunch. If you don't know what networking is or how to do it, in the Now Cafe out these doors to your left, there's some helpful hints on how to be a great networker. So go ahead, grab some lunch, chips, sandwiches, water, cookies, and just get to know each other. Let's have some fun.
Guys, go.